Hey, it's Miss Cool coming on here. I got on my treadmill. I got my 15 in. I pulled a muscle on the inside of my thigh. It's very, very painful. I'm going to go take a swim right now, do some more stretching. But I wanted to come on here real quick and let everybody know something about control. You can control a lot of things, right? Like I like the mint. Well, before I knew that coming from California, and there's a lot of farmers in California, but just to make a long story short, the mint that I had wanted to smell or just to have to make tea, because my Mennonite Amish sister always boils mint tea when I go in her house. And when she boils this mint tea, it's very refreshing. I like mint, okay? I happen to have some mint in here right now, thank you, Jesus. And I need to use this mint. I've got some sprouts. I've got some mint. And I really like mint. But guess what? It has to be contained. Does anybody know that? Mint has to be contained. If not, it's going to go wild. When I say wild, I mean wild. Do you know that? Where's my mint at? Thank you, Jesus. It's probably right here in front of me. It certainly is. What does that say? I need it anyway. I'm going to juice. Okay? If you put this outside, it could just go all over the place, right? Thank you, Lord, for videos like this that I can just be in the raw, the buff, not meaning naked, buff with my feelings. So, I need to juice anyway. I'm going to juice those apples and all that ginger. And what I'm trying to tell you is you can't control people. It's something that I've done for many, 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 many years. And, you know, I realize we're all like water and glasses at different levels. I already learned that. But what I want to come on here and say real quick and get going with my day is this control. You know, I like the fact again about the stoplights. You got red, yellow, green. That's why you break the law. You think you can race against a light. You think when you're driving down the road, somebody looks at you, they cut you off, they're so rude. Where do you think road rage comes from? Road rage comes from people that are competitive, people that are trying to control, people that just can't be around other people to teach you, stay calm. The funny thing about it is when I got my name Miss Cool when I was like 13, am I Miss Cool? No. Have I had to learn that I'm not going to race you to the red light? Have I learned yet that people want to control and bark orders at you? You can bark orders at me if that's your position. Trust me, I've worked in restaurants. I've worked in a hotel. I've had a chef scream his guts out at me before we did a Sunday brunch. I'm talking about with harps, ice carving, an omelet station, prime rib, you name it, we got it. If a chef wants to scream and yell at me, that's why when that show came out about Chef Ramsay, I was like, whatever, this is old news to people that have been in a big kitchen. Okay? Get your workout in too. It helps your mind, dance, do something. I'm doing it every day now because I need to for reasons that is another subject besides health, because new blood always helps you. So anyway, back to the control. If you're in a position where you can, like a police officer, that's overdone, that everybody they pull over they're going to choke or kill. But hey, I am on George Floyd's side on that. It took a 17-year-old girl to video the whole thing, and anybody in America that doesn't think that police officer, Chauvin, killed George Floyd, something's wrong with you. Something is wrong with you. Candace Owens, you can say anything you want to say, but hey, I'll agree with you on some stuff, but I like you, but I still disagree with you on anything you got to say. That day, he was murdered. Okay, so let's move on ahead to the truth. The truth is control. The truth is people control you. People control you with money. People control you with their children. People control you by insults. Maybe people can control you with like rubbing and petting your ego. You can tell if it's real or not, can't you? Have you been lied to how cute you are? Have you been lied to about a lot of things? Oh, it don't matter what the scale says as long as you look good. Just put on a pair of jeans, and if those still fit, you're all right. Well, weight matters. How we feel matters. How short we are. Can you carry that weight? Are you underweight? Anything with this balance. Let me tell you something. I had a therapist, and I can say her name because she wouldn't mind. Her name was Mary Jean Pratt. Or was it Mary Jane? It was Mary Jane Pratt. And she helped me a lot about balance. Now, you can have therapy and you can control stuff, but until you reach out, until you sit somewhere and just put your feelings on the table with a professional, you can go through a lot of therapists too, by the way. But there's going to be that one that's going to say, Pamela, the trick to life is to find the balance. You can have everybody come up and say, what sign are you? Libra. Well, what sign are you? Were you born under no parking? Signs really do not impress me. They did before I met Christ. Horoscopes, everybody had a cosmopolitan on their table in the 70s. You wanted status, not like shoes these days or platforms. You had a cosmopolitan. You were able to talk about things that women discuss. Well, today I want to get on here and talk about control. Just like the spice mint that I love. If I don't put it in a pot to contain it and control it, it's out of control. So, describing you at that, be careful of control, because control is a big, big, big issue in Miss Cool's life, okay? At a young age, I had to take over things. I had to be in control, okay? It's kind of fuzzy right here. The reason I had to be in control was for several reasons. I was around people that put things on me because they couldn't do it. So I learned that control isn't actually, my way to highway. Isn't actually, I can show you a better way, because in my life, I'm here to tell you, the people that I thought couldn't teach me taught me more than the ones that did. It's always that person, the quiet one or meek one or someone you don't think that could teach you, ends up teaching you. Be open to learning something. Don't judge a book by its cover, I always heard. But still, the point is, I have anger because when you heal and you change and you grow and you go through pain, you know that the Lord is chastising you, convicting you. People in life itself, if you don't believe in God, just your ways just weren't working. Whatever it is, you came to a conclusion, right? Did you come to a conclusion that you really can't control people? I had a therapist years ago tell me, Pamela, if you're a little bit over about it and you've been hurt by somebody, or you're trying to make some changes, and boundaries, of course, with other people, they're going to get angry. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, they're going to get angry because they're going to see a different person in you. You've always heard that expression, you teach people how to treat you. Well, what if you change? What if you don't want to teach people how they can treat you the old way but the new? What if they don't accept you? What if you actually need an intelligent person that knows Christ, that knows other things, that, just are humble enough to be able to say to you, hey, I had to do those things in my life. And guess what the cool treasure and test is? Will they still like you? Will they still accept you without telling them your whole story, but they know what kind of book they're going to open? That's me. Okay? If I want to change and I want to forgive and I want to move on and I want to do things different, because for many, many years I was negative, I blamed, I controlled. I didn't want to accept the fact that I'm going to take care of me. Okay? You see what this says on my fridge? Read that. Today, let me make sure you can see that. Okay, can you see that? There, I'll just take it off and make sure. Well, that's probably backwards. I'm going to read it to you. Today is my day to take care of me. What do you think that means? Does it mean that I took care of other people at a young age? For those of you who think that maybe I'm making up stories, it's between me and God. Should I share a story with him? I'm going to share a story with you. One time, it'd be kind of hard for people to believe, Pamela. Tell them anyway. I'm talking to myself. I had a lot of pressure put on me at a young age. My grandmother and my aunt and my mom asked me to drive a Bonneville big car. It had, by the way, this message is for people that have had a lot of pressure put on them at a young age. And then they grew up and people didn't read the book or know the whole story. And they're like, golly, why is she a controlling person? Why does she talk about herself or blah, 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 whatever you want to say? There's a story behind the story. And it's up to you to make the observation or feel like that you would want to learn something, you know, instead of being these type of people, I know it all and it's my way or the highway. Hey, guess what? Ryan, you're right here in the kitchen with Mama. To each his own. But you have to know why it is to each his own. I just got done working out. I'm out of breath. To each his own is a great thing to live by. And it does teach us to not be in everybody else's lane. But some people are gifted to do other things. Some people are gifted to share. Some people have a lot of knots inside of them. And they can't undo them. And if that's what protects them, it's okay till they get through it. But for me, I'm grateful to the people that taught me I can share. I'm grateful for the people that taught me to stop controlling. They can say it all day long, but until you do it, until you grab it, make that touchdown, or hit that ball out of the field, and everybody that's in the stadium, there's nobody there but you. You get to relish in what you've done, no matter what people think. You don't have to control it. You don't have to control your growth. You can let it grow. You can learn. You can look down at your hands at 66 and say, oh my hands look different. Oh my, I'm bruising. Oh my, I know what the truth is. I don't know it all. I'm still learning. But you cannot control people. Back to the story, because I know maybe I started a little fire and I'll light it. I was really young in California, in Pasadena. And I'm going to remind you, you could eat off my grandma's floors. I'm going to remind you that my family are wonderful people, but I can expose a story about who Miss Cool is. Because why? It won't be real. Have you ever gone in a restaurant and it's not real guacamole? Have you ever tried some salsa in different Mexican restaurants? I got to do these comparative things because I have learned I don't want to hurt people. I have learned I have been hurt. I have learned I don't want to sling mud on others because plenty's been thrown on me. I'm not a victim, but I know what it feels like. Sometimes you can take 1,000 showers and it don't come off. You know why? Because people wear the mud on the inside. If people try to communicate with you with shame, or make you feel like you don't have worth, or you're a nobody, or try to control you by putting you down and not understanding that you've learned tools, that you're going to deal with it and you are going to get through things, and that fences can be broke down and a tower can be broke. But when you love yourself and you trust in yourself and God, there's nothing impossible anymore. You can make it. So, at a young age, there was a lot of pressure put on me, with a mother that had an addiction. If I name anything on this YouTube video, it'll be being raised by neglectful, absent, abusive, addicted parents that weren't a good example, that smoked cigarettes, that lied to you and manipulated you. And I don't want to get teary-eyed, but I want to let you know today that you can let these feelings go, and you can move on, and you can know what to share and what not to. You can tweak a recipe. I hate to use the word tweak because there's so many people on meth and fentanyl. So let me pull that word back. You can enhance a recipe. You see how I caught that? Our words are powerful. Cursing is bad. For some people, they even get on Facebook and say, people that use the F word are really intelligent. Shut up. Wouldn't it be a good brain exercise to find another word? Don't I have an Alexa sitting right here my son got me to ask what's in an eyeball, what's the difference between an ocean and a sea? Today, I'm not better than nobody. I'm learning, I'm growing, I'm moving, but I have the fruit from it, and I share it. Can you imagine standing in front of a huge fruit tree? It's bringing me back to another memory. I got caught taking some fruit off a tree. I'm talking like years ago. My baby Coco was small, and a lady did run out. I didn't have a basket or a bag. I wasn't filling up. But there were some really sweet pears in Springville, and I picked a few. And you know, I felt really bad. I mean, if I'd have knocked on her door, she probably would have given me some. But sharing. And I told her, I said, that's not your tree, really, it's God's, and I'm sorry. But people could find a reason about you and control you with that, like a negative thing. So always be quick to say, I'm sorry. Will you accept my apology? Learn from it. A soft answer turneth away wrath. These teachings are going to benefit you. So in life, that's what happens. Long story short, they had about, I had a family that needed a ride. I was probably about, it was before I had my baby, so I was about, I'm guessing 12. That sounds like a good number. Almost 13. They got about 6, phone books. The big thick ones back in the day. Now we Google. Now you don't need a phone book. They put them up in this Bonneville car. You know the Bonnevilles, the old-fashioned ones? The ones that have the spring-like thing that's sticking out on the side so you don't get too close to the curb, because it's a nice ride. They had me drive that car. I'm sharing this with you guys. I have no shame. It was like fight or flight, I learned. I got in the car, started it. Well, I had 4 adults with me. And I drove on the Pasadena freeway. Right when you get on the Pasadena freeway, there's this turn and they call it Dead Man's Curve. I made it. And I drove. It was so scary. I was on this real thin street too when I got off. I'm not going to finish the whole story, where we went and what I had to do. Maybe sometime I'll come back on it here and tell you that I was needed at a young age to do a lot of things. I'm not a victim, but you live through things. Just like after a funeral, they say, well, it might hit you, because you were strong during it. Deal with your feelings, all right, you guys? Sort them out like you would laundry. Some stuff's white and needs to have hot water. Some clothes are colored. But at the end of the day, get to know who you are. Try not to control others because someone controlled you. It's Miss Cool saying, peace, have a great day. Always know there's a God. that never sleeps. Always know there's a Lord that can change you, rearrange you, fill the scars with sugar, and he can rearrange you, okay? And that's a beautiful thing, okay? I like that. I like that a lot. I listen to a lot of different music, old music. I don't listen to music anymore like that came from when I was in the world. I say that because I'm in like a journey with the kingdom. But like, I know all the songs too, you know, like an addict would like, I don't want to hurt people's feelings, but just that old world, you know. Purple Haze. I remember being in a bathroom. I'm going to share this back in the day, you know. They had some Purple Haze acid, and I was so young. I didn't know what it was. But it seems like angels and the Lord have been watching me for many years. They were cutting it up on a sink. And my late father, which is my oldest son's dad, said she doesn't need any of that. It was Purple Haze and Orange Barrel, and they took acid. And I always thought to myself through my whole life, anything that small that can get you that messed up for that long, I don't want anything to do with. Some things come small, some things come big, but it's usually the tiny little cuts and experiences that can grow if you don't contain them. Be like the mint today. If you want to exceed in a position, that's great. But control yourself, will you? It's Miss Cool saying, work on your emotions. Work on the different things that only you and God know, or yourself, or your mate. Or I know I was just born me, one. I wasn't born like with a mate that I loved or married or a couple. It's okay to be one. It's okay to learn that another person can't fix you. You got to fix yourself. So take some good advice from whoever you want. Listen to your heart. When was the last time you listened to your heart? Mary Jean Pratt told me that.